We live in a complicated world, and I believe we, the people, have the right to know what's happening in our towns, cities, and states. The mainstream media does not have our best interest at heart, and I want to share some information from around our great nation so we can fight back by being informed. Join me each week as we go after hours and get behind the scenes to uncover the truth. The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to After Hours. And tonight's guest is Rex. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a YouTube channel too, and he is writing a comic book. And I just thought he'd be a wonderful guest to bring him on. And he's also in Arkansas.
On a brand new show, right? I mean, how long have you been doing After Hours?
This is my second one.
Woo! Thank you.
But I wanted to do something different so that I could have different topics, different things that are going on in our communities, what other people are doing, with pulp culture, with everything. And I just thought that would be a good name because I already have a shit show. So
yeah. And I've caught that. That's on Friday nights, right?
A Friday night shit show. And we're always going to have shit to talk about. So I'll always have that. But I wanted to ask you about how you got started into thinking about doing your own comic book. I mean, what got you motivated into that? And I'll bring up different things and you can talk about them. But go ahead and just start off by introducing yourself and giving us a little information about what got you motivated into doing this in the first place.
Well, you're in Arkansas as well. Where are you now? Tell me once more.
I'm in the Ozarks.
You're in the Ozarks. Now that covers a lot of.
Well, it's up above Conway in that area, up there in the mountainy area there.
Okay.
In Hillbillyville.
Conway is where they do Toad Suck celebration.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Well, it's a while. I have to drive like 40 something miles to buy alcohol. So.
Oh, you do? Okay. So you're a dry county. So is Jonesboro, which is in Northeast Arkansas. We're
a lot of people
county.
Still can't believe that because I left New Orleans where I could drive right down the corner and go through a drive-through and get a daiquiri and then come somewhere like this. You don't even think about it when you come looking around and things like that because they have restaurants where you can get alcohol, right? So I'm like, what happened? It's just weird.
Well, we used to have blue laws too, what they call blue laws, where things shut down on the weekends, right? On Sunday.
On Sunday, you can't buy any alcohol still.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So stock up, right?
That's right.
How did I get comics really made me a reader, Janet? And here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, I was adopted and brought up here at 3 months old, which, I just got to meet my last, was it this week or last week? I guess it was earlier this week or last week. I don't know. It goes by so quick. I got to meet my sister for the very first time after about 60 years,
Yeah.
We reconnected and that was a lot of fun going around and doing things, from my bucket list that we didn't get to do as kids. So got to see movies and watch TV together and have ice cream and pizza and, things like that. Just go to a food truck, we had a fun time.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, because that normally doesn't happen. But the way she found me was
Mhm.
through a DNA test through my daughter. So, yeah, we make moonshine around here. In fact, I have some moonshiners in my family history, as well as some outlaws. We're connected on the family tree to Frank and Jesse James. We're connected to a founding father that wrote that was signed the Declaration of Independence. Our
Yeah,
family.
I did my DNA, and I found out through my grandmother's side that I'm related to Pat Garrett, the lawman.
Oh,
So,
there you go. Yeah.
it's
So
all really weird.
yeah, yeah. It is
Yeah.
weird, when you find out that our family crest is even on the flag of Maryland, because we
Hmm.
came over from England, was quite affluent, and family crest even on the flag of Maryland, and uh, uh, connected to related to two presidents, the
Hmm.
ninth and the 29th president, last name Harrison. Hey,
Yeah.
Bone. We got Omer Glitch. He's the one that helped me with the shorts. Shout out to him. Hopefully, we'll
Yeah.
look at some fan art. He did some fan art that's on my
Hmm.
campaign.
Yeah. I'm going to
Uh,
share that you sent me in the messages, right?
yeah, I was into monsters as a kid. I wanted to Scholastic news and stuff. You get these
Hmm.
magazines and things that you'd order through school, and it would have a comic section, but that didn't really hook me. I love the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and stuff, and Super Friends and stuff like that in the
Hmm.
70s. And uh, so I was exposed and knew who Spider-Man and Batman were somewhat, as much as probably anybody else did back then. Um, was ravenous for TV, watched a lot of TV, because I knew even my parents were older. My mother was 31 when she got me. That was a little bit of information I got recently when my sister visited. And I knew she had to be in her late 20s, 30s. They waited a little bit longer. And it occurred to me, probably in the mid 90s, that they probably passed on some of that maturity to me. They weren't just kids having kids.
Yeah.
They had waited and they'd wanted kids, but there was a biological problem there, I guess. And, well, they never could have their own kids. So they adopted first my brother and then me. He's about 2.5 years older than I am. So I wasn't an only sibling. And,
Hmm.
rambunctious boy, but just through those school things and ordering scholastic books and stuff, and I kind of got into monsters and reading about like King Kong and Dracula and all these classic movies from Universal from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, and was really like that stuff on TV and stuff. And
Hmm.
my first Marvel anything was a Marvel magazine, Vampire Tales. It dealt with vampires, and it was a little adult for my age, probably. My father didn't want to buy it for me, but I begged him enough, and he bought it for me from a convenience store. But even that didn't get me collecting comics. Um, my grandfather was in the hospital here in town, and we went to pharmacy. And while my mother was over there visiting him, or afterwards getting some medicine for him, I checked out the spinner rack. That's when we had a spinner rack. You buy a comic. Okay. I bought the
Yeah.
Avengers 147. And then we went back a couple weeks later and I bought another comic and it just happened to be 148. Before that, I'd bought from my neighbor some comics, about 6 different comics, when he had broke his leg and his parents bought those for him. He's like, well, I'm thinking about putting these in a yard sale. And I bought them for 50 cents. And I liked that, but I didn't even know comics were continued on like a soap opera. Hey, Tank's done some work on we need some wrenches around here. Oh, wow.
Well,
Stop the show right now. I
bones-
realize we've only got about an hour, but Omer wants some wrenches. Damn.
We do have a couple
Think
in
about
here
when
that
you're
I've
doing this
seen.
show. Huh?
We have a couple. We have Bong. We have Snortopupus in here. Let me go up a little bit. We've got Jackie's in here. At least I thought I saw her in here a while ago. Oh, I don't see her. Maybe she hasn't come in yet.
I went back. Bone's got a question. Do you still have those comics? The first one you ever bought?
Mhm.
Yes, I have. The first one my grandmother bought, and I had the first Avengers I bought, and I have that first Vampire Tales, which had some amazing Mobius origin story in it by Gil Kane. All the rest is gone due to a fire in '97. But I have went back and tried to collect some of those old ones, that I had. I bought some very early on. I bought 3 issues at TGNY, which was all DC stuff, I think. There was a Legion of... Can't hear you for some reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's on X though, so X
okay.
might be having some technical problems because I
And
don't
maybe
think
take the mute button off.
yeah. Am I muted?
I will always say no to that, because one time I was joking around and somebody got mad and destroyed their laptop, and I was just joking. They were asking if they were muted, and I said yes, and so they said, "Well, I'll be back." And they got mad and tore their laptop up and came back on their phone. I said, "Well, lesson learned. I won't do that anymore."
Well, I like to know if nobody can hear me, because in case I mess
you're
up.
coming through.
But I brought
clear.
up your YouTube channel, and I'm going to scroll down through it while you describe what's on there and why you have it on there, that type of stuff, if you don't mind. So hold on, let me.
Recently got monetized. A little bit over 3 years in the making. I wasn't even putting up content, and I started co-hosting with Apex Comics, who's also done some fan art for the campaign. A Sea Demon trading card. That was the last. That No More Glitches fan club card. We do interviews, like we just had one on about a supernatural Western. You can see that.
You want me to click on your live?
Sure. Yeah, it's just this
so we
show.
Can kind of show. Can you see it on here?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, these are a bunch of his shows that he's had on, and he's got
all
a good
done
variety.
live, except for the shorts. There's been a couple other things I've dropped, but for the most part, everything's done live on my campaign. I kind of think that's maybe why I've heard that they like you. YouTube likes you to do one or the other, right?
Yeah.
And at first they wanted you to like drop little shorts, like you said you do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is some of the artwork on the campaign and other stuff, some early stuff, like that's early Devil Flyer drawing.
Yeah.
Down there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I put up thumbnails, sometimes I don't, but usually it's artwork from my files.
And then you have your playlist, so people can come and just pick whatever list they want, and then it has like different. This one says 4 videos. This one has 2. This one has 2, and this one has 1. But it's an easier way to look at the collections that you have, and then you also have shorts. And I've already got these separated on the different up there, bookmarked, that I'll play here in a little bit, so that people can get a view of them. And I'm also going to share your actual the actual links to each of the shorts in the chat, so that everybody can just go to it. But I'm going to share your YouTube channel again in the chat real quick.
Okay.
So that everybody can click on it. I appreciate it if you guys would get on there and then also bookmark it, so you have it for later. And then I'm also going to share his X profile for anyone that's on X. Do you have a Rumble?
I do have a Rumble, but I don't have any content up there yet, so I don't have that link.
Well, I just wanted to ask so I could share it.
Appreciate
but I've got your 2 links in there now, and look, you got somebody from your page saying hi.
We can talk politics too, just after hours and stuff.
Well, but it depends, because I need to know the topic beforehand so I can see whether or not I would do it on YouTube or not.
Right.
Because YouTube doesn't like a lot of
I found out today you're a controversial person.
So,
I'm sorry to hear about your troubles with that one video.
It's terrible, isn't it? But the thing is that I think it's awesome that you are using something creative inside of you, because you draw a lot too, right? Or are you just writing the story?
No. A lot of people think that I was just a writer when I came on board, because I was hiring just to expedite things. I was,
Yeah.
and it was a collaborative type thing anyway. Um, John Fernandez, is my neighbor, a couple blocks
Yeah.
away. I've known him since 1982.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have worked more, but he always kind of changes my designs a little bit. So, but I had proposed in 2017 that we do a Devil Flyer story. And if I've got the times right, I believe I created him in 2007. I've got some characters like Sea Demon that goes back to 1993. Bog goes back to 2015. So different characters I've created over time. And I've kind of was world building and stuff. And I started co-hosting with Apex, and he challenged me to start putting up videos on my channel, which I'd had since August, and it was in the end of December. And I just, okay, well, I'll try that. And I started using the YouTube studio and showing stuff from my collection, which is rather extensive. And so that's the Drawn Interior, the Western character that I'm really excited about right now.
See, I've got it open so that I can share with everybody what is in your what you sent me in photos. So I had to make it smaller so nobody could see all the rest of the people that I'm talking to. But I'm going to go back up to the top, and then we're going to go through, and I'm going to share this here in a little bit too, the 2 links. But here we go. I'm going to click on this, and you can tell us about it, what this is.
Yeah,
in this picture.
Yeah, this is the 10 card trading card set that we have on there. There's a 10th secret mystery card. I won't tell you what's on that. On the other cards, obviously it's the same character, whether it'll be the character and stats on the back of that 10th card, or it'll be like the rest of them, which is one character on one side and one on the other. You know, you'll find out if you buy this. Free domestic shipping on this costs you $10 domestically. I've been creating these with Omer Glitch using the various artists on here. We've got John Fernandez Golden Age cover, which is sort of his gray and blue costume. We got Dirty Joe done by Hockey. He's down in Australia. We got Bystander there by Doc Blaylock. He's in Georgia. And we've got The Seer done by John Dillard, and he's over in California. And myself here in Arkansas, and Tank Ferret, who's up in Illinois. So they're
really, really good. Very, very talented. And I like the fact that you're using colors and black and white, because real comic book fanatics like me enjoy seeing both. Reading comic books with both, in black and white and in color. It doesn't always have to be in color. I don't know why. It's very nostalgic to me. Sometimes depending on the story and depending on the artist too. The artist has to have a certain flair for it to be really good in black and white. But I like to see that sometimes. And just like you said, they can come and watch if they subscribe to your YouTube channel, come and watch you working on your pictures too as you're working on it. But you also have your packages on your 2 channels that you're doing, the GoFundMe and the Indiegogo, right? So you can get different packages depending on the donations, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, over there on Indiegogo, we started out with a 24-page ash can, which has set the first 7 pages of this story, of the Devil Flyer story. Of course, it is kind of like a hero anthology, but it has horror elements. It has different genres in there, noir, more cosmic, sort of Marvel feel to it. The ash can is like the first one we did a couple years ago. Did over 1,400, and it's still up there on Indiegogo. I just never taken it down. We produced 3 our first 2 trading cards, 3 bookmarks, and 2 magnets with that campaign. And so I think everybody was so satisfied. For an ash can. Ash cans done back in the 30s were done to expediently copyright comics. And then one, or maybe a logo or something. Maybe the guts of the book had nothing to do with the cover. Maybe the cover had nothing to do with the guts. It was just to quickly get something out before and copyrighted before, and then it was usually thrown away into what we call a trash can or ash can. And ash cans kind of made a resurgence back in the early 90s and kind of came back. And I don't think they've ever
I never threw away anything I purchased as a comic book. I didn't care if it was how cheap it was. Even the free ones that I get when you go to the movies sometimes,
exactly.
I kept. So I'm a hoarder really bad when it comes
to
those
are called promo books. And let me tell you, some of those promo books generally with the price guide are more affordable. They don't, at least in the Overstreet official they don't acquire a lot of money, but they can. Like I went back and got just some freebies that I got because I think they're going to do well, because it's like the first appearance of Constantine in anything comic book related before he was actually in Swamp Thing. So I think some of those freebies with first appearances are kind of like rookie cards in trading cards, so they can be worth something. And that's something I always promise with my comics that I produce. I think on the ash can, you had 16 or 17 first appearances of characters. And then in this one, I can't even tell you, there's going to be 50 characters probably at least make their first appearance in this comic, because I'm going to give you an overview of my characters that I've been sort of creating since the 1970s.
Okay, well, this is the next one I pulled up. It's a black and white. Is this because he hadn't colored it yet, or
exactly.
Is it just So this is the second one. It was in your message to me, so you can tell us a little bit about this picture.
Okay,
if you don't mind.
If you want to click on it and bring it up bigger, I think it'll be fine.
This is as big as I can get it. It's already, I'm already clicked on it. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. This is the front and back cover. So you've got the art of Devil Flyer, which the art of Devil Flyer gives you some behind the scenes kind of making of artwork. We've also got an art book on there on the campaign that also does that. That's going to be a hardback. We're trying to do some. This is a new item that this is the only one. It's a 60 pager. So unfortunately we do have some shipping costs on this book, but all the rest of the new items have free domestic shipping for about a couple of months, and then I'll take that down. But this is kind of a role reversal and a preview of the next book that's going to come out, because because
it says new art book down here on the and who is this cutie right here?
That's the love of my life. That's a very a younger picture, when probably shortly, and the blanket that she came to me in. She was about this size when I got her. 3 months old, fully grown. Now she's filled out since then, but
she's precious. I lost both my babies last fall.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I just haven't I just can't get to the point where I'm ready to get another one yet. It's too tough. I had my two. One was 16, blind and deaf by the time he died. He was a Chihuahua, and then the other one was a Shih Tzu, and he was 13, and he was blind and almost, completely deaf.
Well, this is Abigail, and Abigail means bringer of joy, and she's actually she's actually named after a girl almost. Married. Unfortunately, she had bad cancer, and she wanted to go to Tennessee and live with her family. So instead of struggle through that with me. So, but we had been friends for at least 10 years before we decided.
Well, she's adorable, and I can tell that she makes you feel good every day. I'm sure she gives you love. Well, here's another one.
12 years old now.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Omer Glitz's not the non-colored version, because he has colored it since then, and sent me the original artwork to this, which was very nice of him. It's a watercolor. This was early, if not maybe the first, or maybe Jonas. I'm not sure. I remember Jonas being the first, but I may have that wrong. Jonas is in Sweden. Omer is in Texas. This was some early fan art done in 2022 of Devil Flyer.
It's really, really good. Very good. Very detailed. You're lucky. You lucked out getting another cartoonist, because I know so many people that would love just to have a decent cartoonist help them with their work.
And these are different versions. I think he kind of colored one of them and kind of gray toned one. This was from Jonas from Sweden. A little bit of fan artwork, Devil Flyer. He did a few years ago.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one too.
it's really neat to see what other people's vision of your character is.
Yeah, it really is. These are fan art, basically.
That's fan art,
Mhm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
People that have
very,
drawn
very
like that.
good. But to know that you inspired somebody to draw one of your characters,
Mhm.
I think is awesome. I mean, that's the best type of you know,
I really like
saying,
this.
"Wow,
This
I love
almost
you."
the
Yeah,
coloring on this almost looks like those old style holographic cards you used to get.
yeah, it's really, really cool. This would be a
Mhm.
great collector card right here.
It would, yeah. And we
I
may
think
do
so.
a fan club
These
card.
are the kind of cards that you would want to make. And I would also make them a little bigger than the normal ones. I'd make the regular size, but I'd also make the little ones that are like 6x4 and have them at your autographing, places. Like if you go to a con or whatever in Arkansas and you have a booth and you autograph these.
Now, do you go to some of those cons? Because if you do,
I went to the last one.
Okay.
And I went dressed as an Andorian, and I got to meet William Shatner and Christopher Lloyd, and they both autographed my Federation of Manual.
You go,
Federation
girl.
of Planets.
You go,
It was
girl. I
awesome.
mean, William Shatner. Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I had so much fun.
It's just amazing. He's still going strong at 90 something.
Yeah, he looked great. He just looked up at me and said, "Wow, you went all out." And I said, "Yes, sir." I was so happy to see him. I was almost speechless, but
at least you didn't stab him. Because Andorians tend to stab Kirk,
I was in awe of him. I just had a blast. And my daughter went with me, and she was dressed as Magenta. So that night, later on the next night, we went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I got to dress up as Magenta that night. So that was fun.
Well, that's
I like
cool
all
that
that stuff.
she did it one night and you did it the other. That's cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Did she go with you that night? And then what did she dress up as?
She went dressed as that night. She went as Rocky.
Wow.
So it was fun.
Been a contender. Yeah.
Well, as a Frankenfurter, I mean.
This was done. He has done his own comics. He's done, but I still kind of consider this fan art. A Tank Ferret actually first did the concept for me of just sort of the heroic pose of his trotting up in the air and lightning coming down and hitting it, and him just looking all sort of in his glory. And so from that Tank Ferret piece, he did this piece, and he did another piece. I just showed you this one, but he did this on the show live with us, both of them. And
this is a really good one.
He's going to be, and he's got some artwork on the campaign. I'm definitely going to use this artist, Rob Ewing. He's in New Mexico now. He was in South Carolina, I believe.
I wanted to ask you a question real quick. I forgot to ask earlier. What is the background for this character? What does he do in your comic book? Is he a hero, anti-hero? I mean, what does he do?
She's crying. Okay.
I will give us a little taste.
Okay. I will not tell his origin. I was thinking he's got a story arc, right? This is a prequel book. It is magazine size. It's going to be 48 pages, possibly, probably expanded to 52 pages. We got other stuff with it, tapestries and standees and all kinds of stuff. But in the main book, I'm going to vacillate. I'm going to keep you guessing. Who is Devil Flyer? Is he good? Is he bad? I'm not going to, after the story arc, which I kind of have in mind, will be 6 issues. Actually, more than that, because I'm kind of doing the prequel, the 0 issue next of Devil Flyer. Because I often they'll do a series and then they'll come in with a 0 issue. I want to do mine in order. So I'm putting in a 0 issue. That way I can lay a good foundation before I start issue 1, because we're going to do a countdown of like 6 stories in one issue, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then on the climax of the arc in issue 6 it's going to be just Devil Flyer, and all those stories, all those characters wrote into that one story, because they're basically going to storm hell, or a hellish chaotic realm, and try and save the earth from this impending doom that's coming on. And then I said after that, well, after Devil Flyer kind of becomes its own book, how can I top that? Well, I figure by that time you're invested in the character, you want to know more about him, we'll tell the origin story. So in issue 7, you'll get the origin of Devil Flyer. And so not till now, with that said, in this issue, you get a 2-page spread that visually kind of gives you when he's shot in the neck, spoilers, and he's kind of delirious, right? It's kind of like a shattered glass, because he is sort of laying in shattered glass. And it's these scenes from his past. So you do get a little alluding to his back, or he was born in 1899, fought in World War I and World War II. So what's he doing? And all the stories are slightly in the past, and we're leading up to the present. That's
awesome.
And there is some time travel, but it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
Sounds wild, but the reason I asked is because my favorite comic book characters, all of them, are all anti-heroes. So I love Morbius. I love Deadpool. I love Wolverine, and I love Ghost Rider. I mean, they're all, bad guys, but they're good guys. You know what I mean?
I would say if you get this book and you get the next one, the 0 issue, well, actually, I'm going to do 2 books, and that story is going to be in what I call, which is going to be an ongoing series called Momentum of Future Visions, or Momentum Unleashed Future Visions, and that's where all the stories are told in the future. And there's a story told in the slight future, one told in 250 years in the future, where you see another side of Devil Flyer at the end of that story. You got a story set in 1959. Well, you could say, well, Rex, why is that in Marvel Future Visions? Because it's not in our future, it's in the character's future. The story is called The Death of Silver Boa. And that just about sums it up right there. And then Midnight, my Western character that you were showing earlier a little bit, there's a story told, and I'm telling her story from when she was a young lady and when she's like about my age, about 60 years old. So I'm telling her the story in 2 timelines. So this is going to be.
I'm gonna share the little shorts for each of them, because I think they're really cute. I went and watched them a couple times earlier,
Thank you for that.
so that we could share them with the people with the music and the motion and stuff. I just really think that's why I love shorts. I just do lots of shorts, but I started out on TikTok, so
I don't actually. Omer Glitch made these for me so that I could get monetized.
Well, they're great. I mean, they're really good, and I think you should make as many as you can. And you don't have to tell anything. All you have to do is have dramatic music and take a couple of the pictures and let them move around, change them or whatever. There's so many different types of ways to edit nowadays, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money. But it kind of gives. If you started a TikTok, you can draw more people to your YouTube too that way.
Absolutely. I'm going to do that.
So I would
Sidebase Jeremy says, Rex, do you know who Gary Shipman is? Absolutely. Yeah. I've backed 3 of his books and had him on and interviewed him a couple times on my channel.
Yeah.
I interview people like him, Mike Barron, Dan Lawless, Edwin, Omer. I mean, you name it. With my co-host Shadowhawk, which is in the house. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, well, I was going to bring up this next picture now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do these, and then I'll do the shorts.
Okay, this is Omer Glitch. This is going to be made into this is kind of like fan art, a bog that he did from our story in there, done by Doc Blaylock, Gray Tales. And so he did this watercolor here. And actually, this was up on the campaign, and so do a friend of mine.
I really love this one. I don't know why. It's kind of like the Swamp Thing.
Yes.
With I was trying to think of the other one. The Grinch. That's what I was thinking. The Grinch and the Swamp Thing. Is that's who it really resembles to me.
He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Yep.
But I really do like this.
Boris Karloff. somewhere around
Is
here, I
this
have a
another
Grinch.
fan
Yes.
art or right here?
That is now inked by me and partially colored by me with alcohol
Mhm.
markers. This
Mhm.
is just what I had on file. We were kind of in a rush to put some of this up. And I didn't have the finished thing scanned, but this is
Yeah.
going to be made into a trading card along with that Bog by Omer. This was done back in 2023. Another
Mhm.
character of mine, drawn by Apex Comics, that I co-host with on some Saturday nights on Apex After Dark. That's
Mhm.
kind of how I got my start, was on his
Well, are
show.
you going to have a few black and white unfinished ones for your cards too?
Oh, absolutely. Like this, I'll
Okay.
probably do. Yeah, exactly. I
I
will
would
do like
definitely
pencil
offer that.
roughs and stuff. I like that. And I think people like to see the process.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to be doing it for your Indiegogo, you want people to see the arc. You know what I
And
mean? As you
that's my
develop your character.
co-host. This is the drawn in tier. This is my
Mhm.
co-host
Yeah.
on the left-hand
Here.
bottom
Yeah.
there with the Clint Eastwood hat. And then
Mhm.
wearing the Billy Jack hat above him up there in
Up
the
here. Yeah.
left-hand corner is Crooked Painter. He's been drawn into 16 different comics, or will be.
Yeah.
And then
Awesome.
which is pretty wild. All these characters are going to be now. Shadowhawk, he wants to be killed off after 2 or 3 stories, 3 or 4
Yeah.
stories. That's kind of a thing in comics. That is
Mhm.
Midnight in the middle when she's younger, and then older. I'm going to
Yep.
be telling her in 2 different timelines. I call the other one Old Lady
Awesome.
Midnight. And then that's her horse up there called
Yeah.
Sunset. One of the
Uh-huh.
horses, because obviously horses die, over time.
Mhm.
And then there's in the bottom right hand corner is actually a guy that grew up in Alaska. He is a tracker. I didn't know any of this. I said I kind of
Mhm.
see your character as a tracker, and because they're not only getting drawn into this, they're getting written into my Midnight book when I do it,
Mhm.
which is
Well,
like, and you can get drawn in too. I think the next drawn in tier, so I can get all my characters in this book, will be Sea Demon up there.
mhm.
My sort of my underwater Aquaman. I created him back
Yeah.
1993, and
Mhm.
he's got green skin. If you want to know what he looks like, he's all green. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
going to clear that off for a second, and then I'm
okay.
going to
Are you
share.
doing a Pippi Longstockings look tonight? That looks lovely.
Well, I do that. I've done this quite a few times. It's just fast
Yeah.
and furious. Like I told you, you didn't hear me because I said I ran out to the coop. I had to shut my
Okay.
big coop and make sure my little bantams were put up. Because remember, last week, I guess you didn't know, but most of my viewers know, I had a raccoon that got trapped in my big coop. And I heard him screaming. It was pouring down rain last week. And I went running out there in my, underwear and t-shirt. and a flashlight. I heard my chicken squealing, and I ran out there, and I could see them all running around. I ran to the back of the coop and opened the door. There was a huge raccoon in there.
Mhm.
So he ran up in the side between my nesting boxes, because I have 4 on each side.
Mhm.
And I took a metal rake and I crammed it underneath the bottom so he couldn't get out. And then I took some poles, the ones I had cut for the roosting bars out of bamboo, and I crammed it down in there and wedged it to the ceiling where he couldn't get out the top. And then I ran back to the house, got my 9mm, and ran back out there. And then I put it right down in there and shot it. And man, my ear just went ring. So I thought I lost my hearing, but the whole night was terrible, and it scared the crap out of me. But
you got a smelly raccoon, or were you able to get the body out?
No, I got it out.
Collateral
It
damage,
hobbled out.
folks.
It didn't kill it. It hobbled out.
Oh God!
But I killed one of my chickens, so I was really mad
the
at
original
it.
face hugger from Arkansas.
Yeah,
that
was
possums around here.
Yeah,
they'll get your chicken.
Horrible. Yeah, and snakes. I've done
foxes too.
Yeah, fox. My rooster's attacked a fox before out in the middle of the day.
Yeah, they will. Some of those roosters are.
Yeah,
bad
but that's why I have to have. You can't cut the spikes off your roosters, or they can't defend their hens. So
you're right.
It was just
so
a horrible night.
You're not paying $6 for eggs.
No, that's what I was said in your DM. I thought I said to you that or on your chat earlier, I thought I said I'd bring
Mhm.
you some eggs. I'll bring you a
Yeah.
24 count.
There you go.
'Cause
There you go.
I got Easter eggers mostly, and they're all different colors. I got beautiful, beautiful eggs.
Oh,
But
there
I'm gonna
you go. Oh,
share
yeah,
real
this
quick.
is egg season.
Yeah,
Do you have
I'm gonna share
something
your.
special you're gonna do for Easter?
I don't know. I haven't decided. I like to be
Okay.
spontaneous.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see. But I'm sharing your YouTube channel again real quick, and I'm going to share your X
Home says
before we
that
go to
story
the
escalated quickly.
before we go to your. I want to show your shorts. So just give
Okay.
me 1
I,
second.
I usually use Fruit of the Looms, but Hayes is also a good brand.
Okay. Well, I'm going to present your first one, which would be for your double flyer. So I'm going to do that one. Let me get it
Shadowhawk
open.
says, "Is it wrong that I'm jealous of the raccoon?" It's okay, Shadowhawk.
Well, it was scary. I'm telling you, that was one
Yeah.
scary event for me. Well, let's see. Let me open. I think it's this one. Nope, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I'm so slow at this. Oh, here we go. Here it is.
I'm good, Jeremy.
Here we go. And I'm going to push play. So here we go. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that the people can see it and then see it with color afterwards.
And that is the artist. That's going to be the hardback, which is the logo in color. And then that way they get to see the line art of my artist Dillard,
Yeah, this
John
is really
Dillard.
good. I'm copying the link and I'm going to share it real quick in the chat.
Thank you so
So
much.
that everybody can that's the other one. And then I'm going to share
on this project, Janet, I've hired, if they've worked on like some fan art, or if they've worked on, if they've worked on the project in any way, like trading cards or stickers or anything like that, I've included them in the credits. There's still a couple people that I've got to add to it, but I've employed about 25 people on this project over the last.
I know. I've been really impressed because I've seen a lot of them join your channel too to draw, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've seen your a couple of your shows talking about them, because you're constantly sharing their information and stuff, and I think that's wonderful. And that's why I want to be supportive. I want to see all of you guys be successful and be able to do something with it.
If you want to be promoted, you got to promote others. That's how I kind of view it.
That's right. But also it just helps people get a visual of the kind of person you are, and that makes them want to support you more. You know what I mean? So I think it's great. But here is your other one that I brought up. This is Midnight, and I'm going to push play. I love the fact that you use that Western, the old timey spaghetti Western music. I just think it's awesome. So awesome. I just love this character. I can't wait to see her come to life. Because that's basically what it is. That's what you're doing. You're bringing a character to life. You know what I mean? In someone's imagination as they read your stories.
Well, I kind of think of it as you've got to get some interaction going in between characters, right? So those characters say, wow, there's some good interaction and characterization, with everyday speech, how they might speak, right? That's important. And then they become a personality over time to you. I think when you've done that, you got them hooked.
Yeah, and I'm going to copy the Midnight real quick, and I'm going to put that in the chat.
Okay. And this character here, Bog, which is kind of like my Man Thing or Swamp Thing. Well, I had decided, okay, I need to do a comic, and Bog is probably my most developed character because I had decided to do a comic on him. And I have some story and pages ideas. And the first one we did is Grave Tales in this, but I led Doug Blaylock. I got to talking to him, and I thought he would be perfect for the project. This is actually the artwork to the tapestry, the Darklight tapestry. And it is an acrylic painting done by Doc Blaylock, who is a gallery artist. He's kind of like he does very nice acrylic paintings in the impressionist style. But due to the pandemic, the bottom kind of fell out of that, and he'd done comics previously, so he kind of got back into the comic scene. He does have comics of his own, but this is available up for sale, and half the money goes to him.
Well, did you see? I posted it up there. It said a Bone is saying, "Are you going to make more shorts?" And that you have so many characters. So,
I do, yeah. And this Devil Flyer is not just about one character; it's about the whole Momentum universe.
Yeah. Well, here I'm going to push play on this one so everybody can check it out.
Hey, heck. Little bio music. Yeah. I love what he did there. He flipped that and extended that tree on the artwork and enlarged it.
I love it because I came from New Orleans before I came to Arkansas, and I just love this because this is it's just awesome. I just love it. And I guarantee there's a lot of alligators and other swamp creatures dwelling in his atmosphere. And I just love that. I think it's so good. And I just love this character. And I love the fact he's got these two little leaves on his head. I think that's really cool the way you did that.
Yeah.
So it's the detail is just freaking phenomenal. You guys should be so proud. I think it's awesome.
Doc Blaylock did make a mistake. He put the leaves on the wrong side of the head.
Oh, well, that can be easily swapped. But
that can be flip that image. Yeah, they're actually always on the right-hand side, and usually they're just a couple of sticks, but every now and then they will leaf out,
Yeah. But those are really, really good. You should be really proud of them. But I'm going to, I think I shared I shared all the shorts. So now I'm going to share, what was the other one up here? Okay, yeah, here is one of this is the Fund My Comic, and I'm going to share it. So just give me 1 second.
That's the main campaign going on right now. Yep.
I'm going to share this one.
And Omer helped me with getting, new items up and making it as slick a looking campaign as we can. 69 backers. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's very detailed, what is explained on here. And as you scroll down, there's a video to watch, but it talks about all the different things that he is offering for everyone on here. And there is quite a bit of stuff. I think you guys were really, really impressed because I was really impressed. And I see a lot of this stuff. Believe me, I look at so much stuff. And this is just so professionally done. The artwork is just amazing. It's beautiful. I mean, I could frame this picture right here.
Yeah, and that is our Jimmy Reyes wraparound cover.
Gorgeous.
And, I think covers should have something to do with the story inside. So on the back of the Virgin cover here by Jimmy Reyes, we've got a mysterious character that you'll be reading more about called the Director.
Yeah, you can tell he's like a puppet master.
Exactly.
Using his spider web. It's awesome. I just think this is beautiful. I mean, you should be so proud. I love this picture too, right here. The way that you can see the glow coming off of it and onto the character. I just love it.
This was kind of like the original color scheme for the character, sort of gray and blue costume, which we kind of, after I redesigned, the more, people were saying, well, he doesn't look very devil-like, even though he's got a pointed tail and he's got a pitchfork or a trident and, and a sort of angel wings, like a fallen angel. And this is a redemption story, Janet. He's basically made it he's not a free agent. He's made a Faustian deal, not with the devil, but it might as well be the devil. So he's unwittingly unleashed chaos, more kind of figuratively speaking, opened up Pandora's box again. And so that is the cause for all these stories that I can tell in the interim. Some of these things will hang around, some won't, and that's kind of the story arc. He's got to set things right that he unwittingly started, and plus kind of get out of the contract that he's in with this ancient evil trying to invade the earth again. So in the meantime, he meets these other heroes, these other villains, and combines with both actually to try and save the earth. It's a story arc in a nutshell.
Yeah, I just love it. I think it's just absolutely.
If you were to look at this character, though, Janet, who do you think this character, looking at Tank Ferret's artwork here, who do you think he's based on?
Hawkman.
Okay, because of the wings.
I don't know, because of the helmet and stuff and the wings, and I like Hawkman.
Very Hawkman, but I'll tell you, like his crest up there on his helmet, kind of inspired by Yondu, the archer from Guardians of the Galaxy. His pointed tail, Nightcrawler from the X-Men. He's kind of a mashup character, a combination character with them in mind. Also, with his costume coming off his shoulders, that's very Nightcrawler-like as well. Yeah. And basically,
he's too buff. He's too buff to be Nightcrawler.
Yeah. He's got green energy here as first envisioned by me, which is Spawn, like Spawn.
Yeah.
So,
I love Spawn.
And he's been around a long time like Spawn. I'm not going to tell you if he's a resurrected character or what, but my inspirations were actually Doctor Strange and Spawn for this character.
Yeah, I love Doctor Strange. He's another one of my anti-heroes, that I really like. And I have, I've made, little pieces of art and stuff myself of Doctor Strange and other characters. But I have my office is like, there's not much space left in it. I'll just put it that way.
Says, I like the blue scheme better. I like the red uniform, says Apex. So you have your differences. And I like that everyone draws him differently. Absolutely.
And then I shared the link for the campaign. So, but the good thing is this is recorded so people can come back and look up the links and stuff too if they don't remember or they forgot to bookmark it or whatever. So that's a good thing about having it. But yeah, it's a really detailed fundraiser that you're doing for this whole thing. I really love it. And the fact that you have shirts, t-shirts that people can get and they know what character these are on the shirts. A lot of people I've seen wearing them and I'm like, who is that? And they're like, I don't know. I just liked it. I thought it was cool. But the thing is, hopefully you have, when you send them the shirt, a little printout or whatever that gives you a little idea of who the character is, or do you have it, on the packaging of some sort or whatever like that?
It's the main John Dillard cover from the campaign and then Shadowhawk symbol that his daughter designed. We do the 4 o'clock shadow, as you know, every day at 4 Central on YouTube and X and Facebook. We generally broadcast out to them too. And so, we've been waiting to do t-shirts, and that was something new that I added to the big bundle on here. And, we've got jigsaw puzzles, all kinds of stuff that's included in the big bundle. If I don't sell any more big bundles, I won't have to make this stuff, but you can see where I'm kind of going with it,
Yeah, I definitely can. But I love how you have it all laid out, from the different amount of money that people send and what they'll get. I think that's wonderful. I think you've done over and above what you had to do, basically, because I've seen some that were just thrown together. But this looks like you spent a lot of time and effort on here. And I think anyone would be, ecstatic to be able to just come in here and help you guys out. And just to sign up for your YouTube channel and watch some of your videos and stuff, because I think it's really, really entertaining.
Well, thank you.
This is great. I mean, look at this. Look at the detail on this character. See, even in gray and white, I mean, gray and black, it's phenomenal.
And this is one of the characters that Devil Flyer is going to encounter and fight in the next issue. So this is, awesome. And it will be featured in a 2-page spread, sort of like a preview of what's coming up in this book. So that's he will be in this book. be making his first appearance in this book.
Yeah, all of these are just awesome. I hope everybody that gets a chance comes and at least checks it out. Because do you get like noticed when people come to the website?
What do you mean if I get
Like,
noticed?
do you get like a notification that somebody's looking at your site?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. See, this is so good right here too. I just love it. I love some of the black and white.
That's Tank
really
Ferret doing Cy Marco. Cy Marco is the mobster from Chicago that goes up against Devil Flyer in this first story.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see him return. And this is the splash page, the first page of the book, where you know, this is an old Spider-Man type of deal. This kind of stuck in my head, you know, this image of the hero wrapped up in chains and sinking in the water on page 1. And then you revisit that 16 pages later. You've totally forgot about this moment.
Yeah, that's great, though.
And that just sucks you right into the story from the very first page. You're already in the story. And there's Cy Marco, as drawn by my friend of over 40 years. This is all John Falande's artwork here.
Yeah, these are all really good. But I love the fact that you're showing, you know, how you're working towards a character, and as it's going along, you know, from beginning to end, kind of like you do a movie, you know, when you have a character arc.
And that's page 2 and 3 where he's looking over Chicago. So after that, him sinking in the water and being bound up, you get this earlier that day, you know, and the hero shot of him, you know, to beginning of the story. And you get a quote by Thomas Paine saying, "These are the times that try men sows." And I think, Janet, especially the last 4 years, these are the times that try men sows. And
there have been.
I mean, we have seen unprecedented destruction of our country, and we need role models. We need heroes. And that 2-page spread up there occurs later in the story. And that was the story that I told you that alludes to his origin. All that little imagery up there alludes to Devil Flyer's origin. So I'll drop little hints about who Devil Flyer is, but I'm not going to tell you to issue 7.
Yeah, well, that's good. You want to leave people hanging. Yeah. That's one of the things that it's so funny to talk to people today, is that they have no patience. They have to have it now, and or they get all mad and angry and butthurt.
Well, all these stories are one and done. I mean, they're all complete stories. They'll be very satisfying, but they will have you know, continuing themes and stuff like that. Like in the Devil Flyer story, the director is mentioned in the Inner Man story, which is the second story after Devil Flyer in the book.
Yeah.
He's also a hero that we will be encountering very quickly in meeting Devil Flyer. He's kind of like a martial artist, a human perfectionist, you know, of his body and everything. And so is Dead Ninja here. This is some artwork I did about 3 years ago while developing characters and thinking about doing a crowdfunder before I even had a channel, you know, or any start on my book, really.
These are really, really good. I mean, I really am impressed.
Sargasso there.
Yeah.
He's another character that I'll be drawing here pretty soon. Again.
And these are the type of things I was talking about, that these are simple cards, and whatever you can have to have when you go to a con, because you know you can go, you know, right?
Exactly. And I hope to meet you. I hope you do. You know, once we're open for Phil in July, and that'll be about 1.5 years. If we run over, I'm hoping we're not, but I'm hoping we can get this out in July. I think for such an ambitious project and years in the making, you know, I think people are willing to wait for this. There were some very enthusiasm for this. We had 60 signups on the mail list the very first day. We had over 103 days in. You know, I think a lot of people had seen and heard me talk about it enough, and they did not kind of know, you know, Rex, how are you going to pull this off? There's so many characters. Why don't you just, you know, focus on 1 or 2? You know, it's like, that's not enough. You know, yes, I had the Devil Flyer story, but I said, well, I could add this character, and I could add that
Mhm.
story, and I could add this, and actually, Bog was the last major character that I added. Well, I guess
Yeah.
Bystander is now, but there for a long time, Bog was the last one that I added. That I could feel like, but it was growing and growing and growing because I had this 29-page Devil Flyer story, and it was kind of the elephant in the room. It was taking up too much room in the book.
Yeah.
So I took my most developed stuff. I said, well, I got to get something out after the ash can. I got to get this out to people. So I took my most developed stuff that is interlinked and whatnot, story wise. Like I say,
Yeah.
director is talked about in like 3 different stories in the book. So there are characters that you've not even met yet. I've supplied you with, a cover where he's on the back cover, and, they're like the main cover where he's red and burgundy, the cover where he's blue and green. And then, of course, the other one's a wraparound. Something differently. Tank Ferret's going to do that same image that you like so much in blue and green, but on the red and burgundy, he'll be red and burgundy. So it'll be color different for that cover. So the same image, but colored differently.
Yeah, I think all of this is just way more than I expected. Because I looked over a lot of it, but I didn't get to as detailed as we are right now. And I just can't see how anybody would be disappointed with any of this.
I've got 2 things to prove with this. I can write and I can draw. And, I can show you some examples of my artwork real quick, Janet. There's a Bog piece I did.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit larger than others. That's kind of best of both worlds. You got black and white, gray tone, and then just a little bit of green outlining. I've been doing some larger pieces like this, trying to develop some of these characters from just concepts. You want to get the charter member trading card. If you back either the ash can over on Indiegogo, which is Devil Flyer ash can, 24 pages, you'll still get all the tchotchkes and everything that came with that. 2 trading cards, 2 magnets, and those are good quality magnets. So they will hang to your metal objects, your refrigerator, whatever, and 3 bookmarks. Yeah. Everybody gets original artwork from me of 1 character, and then we do have a stretch goal for a second. If you buy the big bundle, you'll get the second original artwork done by me. And so if we hit that stretch goal and you bought the big bundle too, you'll get 3 different original pieces of artwork by me. They'll all be the same size. Some might be horizontal, some may be vertical. I've done in the Art of Devil Flyer, beyond showing you behind the scenes type stuff, we have 10 years of visual history of Bog, because I've been drawing him for 10 years now. February 15th was the anniversary of my creation of Bog. And so I've been doing, I've drawn Bog probably more than any other character. And here's a piece I've done on the campaign. So all the pieces I've done during this time, during the campaign, will be in the art book. I've been working on round pieces. This is the Bog that you can get. And the first person that backs that big bundle that gets the T-shirts, the metal card, everything will get this original artwork. And then the next one, if that sells, we'll get the Geo Slammer. And I'm also going to do a mat for the Pogs, because Pogs were a thing in the 90s. And I just started doing these rounds and Bog Pogs and Geo Slammer, but I had these pizza rounds, and I started doing some more characters, some villains, some heroes, and then more Bog, because I'm doing a Bog Pog series on the next campaign. So I'm preparing for the next campaign too. So
yeah, they're
I did
great.
a Geo Pog because the other one's going to be a Slammer, and different iterations of Bog. I like drawing him in different ways, just like you get different artists to do them. And so this has been what I've been working on. And Homer's got me working in color, which is a different. It takes more time. It's to do in color.
It's more intricate.
Especially these are 11 by 11 on a bigger surface. It would be, and sometimes multi-layered, 2 or 3 layers to get the desired effect and color.
Yeah, it looked a little bit like the Silver Surfer, or maybe his father.
Yeah, he's actually a rock type villain called part of the 43, which was kind of a Nazi experiment, which is like one origin for 43 characters that are all psychotic villains. That way, when I need a villain, I've got 43 to pick from. Some women, some Here's a Devil Flyer I did the other night. And I often do these on the drawing shows. On Tuesday nights, I'm on Topicless drawing most of the time. On Wednesdays, I'm on the Hump Day show. And here's the last one I've worked on, which is still incomplete.
Oh, that one's really scary to me, I think. That's a scary.
Yeah, he's an ant-like character.
Reminds me a little bit of Red Skull, which I always thought was very scary.
He's an ant-like character.
I'm going to share your, I think it's this one. Yeah, I want to share this other campaign, the Indiegogo one.
Not actual size yet.
So I wanted to share this, and I already put the link in the chat. So you can tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, this is what we started off with. I had originally I was thinking, okay, I could do Devil Flyer, and I was actually those trading cards you saw of the early artwork. I had that artist do that. Now that's kind of his forte. He does like trading cards. And I thought he did the coloring on those really well. But when it came to the sequential pages, the inside interior pages, he wasn't that good. So I kind of had to let him go. And I had to say, okay, I need to get something out there. So I pivoted and I did an ash can. Yeah. So that's what this is. I did an ash can first, got great response to it. Actually, we got about the same backers as we do on the current book. So I think everybody really enjoyed it. And so I've kind of proven I fulfilled that one myself on this new campaign on Fund My Comic. It's going to be fulfilled by Critical Blast, and possibly my next project, which is going to be the art of John Buscema, who helped draw with Stan Lee, write and draw How to Draw the Marvel Way, artist for Dale and Marvel and DC and you name it, for many, many years. Big Conan artist. He drew Silver Surfer in his own book for most of the issues. And
these are all really nice.
Got a lot of his original artwork, so we're going to do a book on him. I'm kind of going after the money to finance bigger things for my own Momentum universe. I feel like an art book with his that I kind of like run on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and just wherever, on the different platforms will do very well. How well, I don't know, but I'm in conjunction with my friend Elsie, that has a bunch of his artwork. I have a bunch of his original artwork, and we're gonna do at least one book, maybe two, called, and it's the unseen artwork of John Buscema. So we'll be doing that, and I hope to have that out around this time for people, and then we can launch a new Devil Flyer campaign at that point.
Well, all of these are just freaking awesome. I'm so glad to have had you on tonight's show. I really appreciate you coming and sharing all this with us. Well, and I hope that it helps a little bit. Hopefully to get more people to just at least go to your YouTube channel and check out what you have. And because your other links are on your YouTube, right?
Yes, my other links are on the YouTube on my channel.
Okay, good. Well, I just shared your X again and your YouTube channel again in the chat. So anyone, there's 61 people right now watching us. So anyone who is seeing this and think it's interesting, at least go check it out and like it. Okay, share it with others because that way other people that might be interested or know someone that would be interested in finding out more about the Devil Flyer. You never know. They won't see it if you don't share. So I'd really appreciate it if all of you would share with all your friends on your timelines, on Facebook, on Rumble, wherever you're at. We'd really appreciate if you just share it. And on X, because it doesn't hurt, it helps.
Absolutely. Anywhere, I think that's been, I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about good comics, and during the pandemic, and that's what I call it, not
Yeah.
my term, but somebody else's. You know, a lot of that creativity was stifled, and I think a lot of people were at home more, so they went back to their loves. I kind of found, you know, people drawing and talking about comics in the crowdfunding scene, and so it's been great for me to actually. Oh, I've sold on eBay for about 20 years now, and so I've been working with the public and shipping things out to them, items that I sell on eBay, for like 20 years. So I do like that one-on-one with the customer, and the customer will let you know what they like, you know. Omer kind of jokes around and says more Devil Flyer, less Bog, but people are demanding, they like you, they like Swamp Thing, they like Man Thing, and they like a new swampy character, you know, Bog. And so
I do.
I'm going to try and give it all to you. Give you Western themes, noir themes, romance, mystery, suspense, hero, you know, a horror, a little bit. I don't see why you can't do. You know, that's a great thing. They say anthologies don't sell. I think this one will. If you get on this, you'll see that these are all complete stories. They're interlinked, and they're going to get closer and closer and rolled into the main story. And then, you know, we'll see what really the cream rises to the top, what's really popular. And then they'll branch off. We'll do as many books and titles as you want, you know, at one point, just to get out more things more quickly. I may do, you know, some floppies, what they call floppies, which are generally around, you know, 20 something pages or 30 something pages, you know, smaller page count, you know, at a lower price point. You know, but after this John Buscema book, if we do really well with that, the sky could be the limit if we really make good on that book.
Well, I'm sharing my Friday night shit show email.
I watch it. You should.
It's my email. But if you saw anything on here, or I saw a couple of people say they'd like to be on my show, if you'll send me a message and let me know what you want to have on here, then we'll try to set you up so I can have you on after hours, because I would really love to share anything I can. Woke Breaker is one of the young men I would love to have on. I've been trying to get him for a while, because he's also him and one of his friends are working on their own comic book, totally different style and technique than this one. But I think everyone deserves to see everyone else's work, because I'm telling you right now, during this whole pandemic, I stopped watching TV. And the reason why is because I didn't watch any news, because I didn't trust anybody. And if they had anything that was a woke agenda trying to force it on me, I turned it off. It just
do you listen to talk radio though?
Yeah, some.
That's kind of where I get my, you know, when Rush Limbaugh was alive, and
I like Sirius, the Patriot Channel. Andrew Wilkow. I mean, I got a bunch. Andrew Wilkow even gave me permission to use some of his information in one of my scripts.
I probably haven't had inward streaming TV in over a decade. Easy. I kind of censor what, you know, if I like something, I buy it, physical copy on disc, and I can watch it anytime I want. And I know I enjoy it because, you know, there's been very few things that I've shows that I bought that I didn't like to rewatch at some point.
But I started watching YouTube. I started watching, you know, more and more YouTube. I was already watching like Nerdrotic and Heel vs. Babyface and Geeks and Gamers, you know, all them, and Clobby from Clobber in Time. Every Sunday or Saturday, I'd watch the Star Trek stuff. I really miss Clobby. I was supposed to be on this show the following week, you know, to talk about some stuff with Star Trek and everything, but it was horrible when he passed away.
So what is the thing for you? Are you like original Star Trek? Are you like
original?
Are you original?
My dad and I would watch reruns of the original Star Trek together. That was
what's your favorite episode? I mean, not by title.
There's a couple of them. Of them. One of them was I can't remember the name of it. I always forget it. It's the one with the giant boulder creature that tunnels.
After Dark. We talked about this. That's my favorite episode.
I know. I told you that.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a bricklayer. I'm a doctor.
Yeah,
know,
but
first time.
that's one of my favorites, and there's quite a few of them though. But I just loved the thought of a young,
And the
I was
one
a
with
young
Joan
kid,
Rivers where they go back to the 20s.
yeah, and getting to
Yeah.
myself thinking that one day I would be able to fly anywhere, in the
Mhm.
world, or in the, anywhere in the universe or galaxies or whatever, as a young girl. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I thought, because I did everything with my dad. I'd go to the farm with him. He'd take me to
Mhm.
the junkyard. I just did everything because I was a tomboy. So, I had 4 sisters, and I didn't want to hang out with them, so I hung out with my dad.
So was your father a farmer? Because my father was a
No, he
farmer.
was
My
in the
brother.
Air Force. He was jungle
Okay.
survival
That's
instructor.
right. You're
And
the military brat. I forgot.
yeah,
Yes.
so I learned all about hunting, fishing, what to eat, what not to eat, how to collect my own rainwater, all that stuff, and how to even collect rainwater on a boat if you're stranded on
And
a boat.
purified probably. So
Yeah,
that's
because
good
if it's
survival
rain,
technique.
if it rains down and it rises up into a thing and drips back down again, guess what? You can drink that. And it won't be salt water. It'll be
Mhm.
good water to keep from being dehydrated.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. So it was great. I had a wonderful dad. But the thing is, I was a little bit sheltered because I grew up on an Air Force base. So I didn't get to see a lot of the negative things that people were forced to see growing up in neighborhoods, like racism and stuff, because I had every race around me all the time. We never,
Right.
I just never looked at anybody different. It's just, and church was non-denominational, so there wasn't any one direction this way or that way. It was everybody went to the same church on
Well, Janet,
Sunday.
what does it say that children generally get along together, no matter what they look like, but adults can't?
But I was lucky. I loved my parents. I had wonderful parents. I love my sisters. I loved my life. I was very lucky. I was very sheltered from violence and a lot of the things that, that's one reason why I'm an advocate for human trafficking. I'm against drugs. I'm against a lot of those things because I never had to worry about any of that. I lived in a protected
I
environment.
was truly shocked. Somebody put a picture of a deadly dose of fentanyl, it's probably pure fentanyl, on X recently, and I shared it on my channel. I was like blown away at just how small amount can kill you. And it's just killed so many American citizens of late. And I'm glad the border is closed down now.
Me too. I'm so thankful that things worked out the way they did in November, because I was really thinking it was over. Now I really thought but see, I'm lucky because
Did you really? You thought it was over?
Because I was born. I was
Yeah.
born in Newfoundland because my father traveled around a lot because
On a
of
military
his job.
base?
No, it wasn't on a base.
Okay. But you're an American citizen, nonetheless.
I could be a dual citizen, and I had applied for my dual citizenship just before all this shit happened. But then when I saw how they were treating the people in Canada, I was like, no, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I still want to go back to Newfoundland and see where I was born and all those things. So my dad was training people, military stuff,
I want to go to England and see the places where we kind of gravitated over here from, I think it's good to touch your roots, if you can.
I think so too. That's one reason why I did the DNA test to find out. And I didn't do the 23andMe, because I already know, and I don't want to know that I'm going to die. I have a higher risk of cancer or whatever.
Oh, they're going to take that blood sample and clone you. Don't worry. They'll be
I don't care. I don't care. But the thing is, I wanted to see who might be out there that I didn't know about. And I found out half my family of my dad's side all come from Nova Scotia. And my dad was born in Albany, New York, and my mother, her mother was raised on Indian reservation in Oklahoma, and so I got the two totally different types of family together. But I feel very blessed, to find out a lot of these things. And I've gone up 6 generations on my mother's side and 7 on my father's side.
And how did you wind up in Arkansas? I have to ask you that again.
Okay, well. My dad, I lived in the Philippines. I have a sister born in the Philippines. I have a sister born in Maine, 2 sisters born in Georgia, and I was born in Newfoundland, and I've lived in Spokane, Washington. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in Idaho. I've lived in New Hampshire. I've lived in a lot of places. And then when my dad got out of the military, we moved to Arkansas. So that's where I graduated from high school. But then I left as soon as I could, because I was like, I have got to get out of Hillbillyville. And then I left New Orleans, which I loved. I absolutely loved. If I could ever go back, I'm going to, because the crime was just getting out of control. It's just so bad. So hopefully, with things change in the next couple of years, to get to be safer, because I lived in Metairie, and I just loved it there.
Well, I mean, is there, for people listening, is there such thing as Southern hospitality?
I think so.
Yeah. I think you see that immediately. I just went.
Well, the thing is, I could drive back and forth to New Orleans, to back to Arkansas, back and forth for work, for commercials or whatever it was I was doing. And nobody's wearing masks. You stop at all the little stores, and everybody just doing their own thing, and little shops up, and no one said, oh, you have to wear a mask, whatever. As soon as you start getting to the cities, that's when everybody's all paranoid. Everyone in their cars wearing masks by themselves, no one else in their car. So it's really sad. To me, it was really sad.
And it's a sad way to live. That's the
reason why I decided to come back to Arkansas, and plus I got to help a little bit on the campaign for our new governor. So I've been in a couple of commercials.
Huckabee.
So that was fun. But I love Sarah Huckabee. So
yeah, I'm one of the gentlemen that I work with.
And her mother's name is Janet.
Yeah. I remember when her father and that they were the first governor and the first lady when they were in office, and she was just a little girl around the Capitol in Little Rock, which is our capital. And right outside of there, I don't know if you knew it, but not Branson. It's right outside of sort of like southwest of Little Rock is the geographical center of our state. And
have you ever been to the cave of what was it? Crater of Diamonds? Have you ever been down there?
I have not. That's on my bucket list to get a bucket.
I've been down there a couple times.
My sister has been too. She lives in Russellville, and she said I found a ruby, and she found something else. So she's actually found some stuff down there. It's not just diamonds, apparently.
Yeah, no,
she found a ruby down there.
The dirt is really awesome because it's kind of like a yellowish green color. It's very different than the black soil that I have.
It's probably volcanic, right? It probably came up. Yeah.
But it's just fun. Now I don't recommend going in August because it's too hot. But in the fall and springtime, like right now, is a perfect time. You can take yourself a picnic basket, ice chest, or whatever, and stop and eat and snack and stuff. Take some chairs and your little pop up. Well, I have the chairs that have the umbrella that just like pops up over your head.
Oh, that's cool.
And you just sit and relax, and then you get your shovel and your little thing, and you just dig a little bit. If you like getting dirty and stuff, wear overalls, and just enjoy yourself and go with some friends.
Absolutely, it sounds like a wonderful list.
It is.
It's on my bucket
list.
Beautiful
too. Very beautiful.
We're the only diamond state. That's why we're called the Diamond State, because we're the only state that has diamonds.
And what was it? Not very long ago, someone found a huge diamond. A young kid.
They found some brown diamonds too. People don't know that there's different clarity levels, and quartz. We have semi-precious crystals and stuff like that. They found, like, I know maybe last year, maybe 3 something carat diamond there. So you can dig some stuff up.
One thing I tell people too is one thing you can do is if I have a Dremel set, because I do a lot of crafting and stuff. Yep. And if you have a nice Dremel set, you can find some really cool rocks, crystals, and things like that on your, just your travels, just driving through. When you get home, you can get a tumbler if you don't have one, and you can tumble some of them, but drill holes in them if they're not too big. But the bigger ones you can slice. Okay.
Yeah, like a geo. Yep.
Yeah, you slice them real thin, and then you drill a hole through them, and you hang them up, and you make
Yep.
mobiles, and they make the most beautiful sounds. It's very soothing. Now, I don't recommend hanging them outside. You hang
Yeah.
them in your house, but if you're walking around a little bit, you hear the light clink, 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 clink
I
of them.
loved going up to around Hardy, Black Rock, different Raventon, different areas, the the cave systems and things like that. And you get up in the rocky areas. I'm kind of in like the flat area, but we do have like Crowley's Ridge that runs through several states for 400 and something miles long. But at its lengthiest, I think back in 5th grade, we did a thing on Crowley's Ridge, you know, and it was like at its widest about 4 miles wide, but it is very long and, you know, goes up into Missouri and, you know, different states. And, I used to like to go to those rock, you know, little souvenir and curio shops.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, in the more mountainous areas of Arkansas, and we do have.
Well, my
Ozark.
parents are in. Their home is in. I don't know if you heard of Grannis.
Grannis, okay.
Yeah, you know, it's Highway 71, and if you drive through Mena, and you go straight towards Texarkana or to DeQueen. Okay, there's a little tiny town. If you blink, you'll miss it. But that's where my parents retired. It's because right down the road from that was where my grandfather had his farm.
Wow. Okay.
And he had 2 ponds and he had 4 pastures.
And,
so,
and is your father loving it? I mean, after that long military,
he's not there right now. He fell and hurt his leg, so he's staying with one of my sisters in Alabama, and another one of my sisters lives down the road from me. And so we take turns. We go together. And we try to go every 2 weeks to my dad's, and we've been slowly cleaning closets and stuff like that since my mom passed. And I've been collecting T-shirts and things like that because I like to make quilts and T-shirt bags and things like that.
When you say quilts, do you crochet?
I crochet, but I use used plastic bags. I recycle them and crochet bags out of those, and I post them on my. I've got a few videos on my YouTube channel, but I also have made a lot of bags for friends of mine on X, and I've got 4 right now online now.
So you use that plastic bag for an inner lining? Is that it?
No, I take a plastic bag like from Walmart, Lowe's, all that, and in different colors, and I cut them in circles.
Okay.
You know, like the top and bottom off, and then I make little circles about that wide, and then I loop them together, and I make a big ball of plarn out of one color.
Okay.
And then I crochet that into a bag.
Now, how did you get onto that? Was that just to be recycling?
It's like a recycling thing. Because when I was in New Orleans and I'd go down to the quarter, I'd sell my stuff. I'd make recycled T-shirt bags, T-shirt quilts. And then I'd also make my rhinestone art, which I'd use old frames and recycle them. You know, and then I'd cut my own mat. You know, mats for the pictures.
I'm going to give you a Southern term that they might, you know, if you talk too much about what you do, they probably say, probably an Arkansas term. I don't know. You're off your rocker.
Yeah, I make tons of stuff. And I've made mobiles out of old keys.
Yeah,
I just real crafty. I like to make stuff.
I'm big on recycling myself.
I make almost all my own costumes too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know you do a lot of cosplay and stuff. What's your favorite though that you've done over the years? You think?
Honestly, I would say my costume that I've made for my alien from Venus.
Okay.
Yes, what I did was I took an Andorian wig and the antenna, and I painted them green instead of blue, and then I got the airbrush stuff to do my skin, and then I got a bodysuit. It's red and black, and then I have a corset I wear. Black corset, and then I got a little lacy doily thing I wear around my neck. And
there's a Talosian with a cap. Do you know what a Talosian is?
I can see it. It's really far away. It looks familiar.
Yeah. It is from The Cage, from the pilot that had Jeffrey Hunter as Christopher Pike in it.
Oh.
You know. In the original Star Trek, they were the Talosians were the ones with the big brains that with the veins and stuff that
that made him had a vision where he could walk and do things.
Yes.
and made the woman beautiful so they could
Yeah.
be together.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was
That's
a good.
that's a bust of a Telosian there. Yeah, that I got back over in Tennessee. Um,
But I don't know
well,
if you know who Tolbat is. Do you know his
Tollback.
channel?
No.
Tolbat. Okay, well he does a lot of stuff with about aliens and stuff. So I went on his show as a guest, and they interviewed me, and I was talking about how this is my original form, because this is me, my fake outfit or whatever, my fake costume from my alien planet, which was Venus. And I said, once every 1 year and 6 months, Venus and Earth get close enough as we're going around the sun to where I can transport to the planet Earth and look for human males to procreate with, because there's no men on our planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
I have a whole story behind all that,
Well, yeah, mark me down.
So it's just a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. And I just love talking about aliens and alien invasions, things like that. And see, I got earrings right now with these little aliens on them. And I also have these. Let me show you this one of these.
My little alien up there.
These
somewhere.
little things. It's a ship that's got a beam coming down so you can suck people up. I wear those sometimes.
Well,
but
I don't know how you deal with the humidity and the mosquitoes. That's what I do for a living.
Yeah, it sucks.
Spray for mosquitoes. Have the city contracts around here. In the next few days, I think I'm going to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and do some, drop some larvicide tablets into the water. Little things, and so that'll be interesting. I went to Florida.
Well, one thing I do is I try never to have empty containers laying around that can fill up with mosquitoes. That's one thing.
They'll lay eggs in any stagnant water.
I make sure that my chickens have fresh water as much as possible, so that water is not gross, disgusting. Right. And I do have 2 creeks, but I'm on the top of a mountain, so I don't really have a lot of places to have standing water. But if old tires, all that stuff,
they're the worst. Yeah.
In them.
We're actually doing.
My eyes would swell shut if I got something by mosquitoes.
Well, more people die from the mosquitoes and the diseases like West Nile, ZZ, malaria than anything else. There's over 2 million people die per year from mosquito-related diseases. So that's the number one killer of people in the world every year is mosquitoes. So you do have to keep it under control. Ticks. Actually, I think we've got 17 variety here.
Yeah, so you have to be careful if you're out in the woods to make sure that you check yourself for ticks and to make sure they don't get infected and stuff. So because you can
Lyme
get
disease, scarlet fever,
starry. You can get starry disease too, which means if you get starry disease, I tell guys this because it's scary, is that you'll get a rash on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. But guess what? It makes you to where you can't eat red meat. So just make sure you spray yourself down and dress appropriately and check yourself for ticks. I have a couple of hats. I should have pulled them out because I have like 75 hats, all different kinds of hats. One of them says, I'll check you for ticks. It's really cute. Someone give it to me. But I got tons of fun stuff like that. But
if you go into wooded areas, I don't have a tick problem here, but now I don't garden, but I put out some lavender and marigold and other flowers to prevent the ticks, the fleas,
lemongrass,
mosquitoes. And I'm going to get some lemongrass too. Yeah. Yep. Lemongrass is good for that. And it smells so good too.
Yeah, it works. There's so many things out there, natural remedies that you can put on your skin and stuff so you don't have a bad reaction. Because, see, I'm allergic to a lot of shit. So I have to be really careful what I put on. Yeah.
Well, pollen is out right now.
Every 2 weeks, I get allergy shots.
Do you really?
For 3.5 years just to live in Arkansas because traveling back and forth when I was in New Orleans, hardly had any allergies.
What happens to Janet when she doesn't take that shot? She turns into a Telosian. Her brain.
Yeah, that's right. My eyes swell shut. I just terrible.
Yeah. So
I just want to say thank you again for joining me tonight. This was great. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and we have 71 people watching right now live. That's really good. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching us on X, Rumble, and YouTube. And please share this out with everyone, and go check out his pages and see if there's anything that you'd be interested in helping him with his campaign for his book. But you get some goodies too, so it's not like you're paying for nothing. You're going to get some good
Absolutely.
stuff.
And I hope everybody will at least back something on it, because they'll get a charter member card, and that will entitle you to free stuff sent to me, to you in the mail. I'll check every time to make sure you haven't moved and your address has not changed. But you'll get free stuff from my comic book company from now on. I want to bring fun back into comics and do like 3D printed decoder rings and all kinds of fun stuff that you will be free to you for just backing something on the campaign.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much again. And sign up, and hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. And hopefully you'll come back and see me tomorrow night, because we had a Friday Night Shit Show. There's a lot of grown-up material.
Oh no!
I have my channel set for not for children, anyways, because I don't really want kids watching my shorts or anything. I don't do anything. I've seen a lot worse than my stuff, but I still rather not just have kids. I talk about adult stuff, so I don't really.
Right. Well, I mean, hence the title.
Yeah, but I mean, for any of my stuff, all my stuff I have set, everything I do, even the stuff when I'm just talking about my chickens or whatever. To me, I just rather.
It's probably best to set it that way. I mean, when I first started, I put child friendly, and it was child friendly because I was just showing collectibles, not using profanity and stuff like that. But you never know, once you start having guests on, how you might get somebody that accidentally says something offensive. I don't know.
Yeah. And on Sunday, on Sundays, I do movie reviews. So come back on Sunday afternoon, because we watch a movie. I can't remember if we're going to do one this Sunday because it's Easter. I don't think we're doing one this weekend. But we watch a movie and then we review it right after. And I try to dress up as a character or a theme of whatever it is we're doing. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. But is anything coming up on your channel special this week?
Coming up on my channel? No, not really. I mean, I do interviews. I try and do some interviews, with other creatives, other creators, draw streams, like you said, and those are really popular, I think, on any channel that does them. I think people like to see the stuff being made and how you do it, and just a daily show, 4 o'clock shadow, every day, 4 Central, 5 Eastern. And we talk about a myriad of things. It's almost like a variety show, in a way. I think we found our legging, as much as I really like doing the interviews, it's not just all about that, but we talk a lot about comics, but that's not all. Other collectibles, things like that, drawing in general in the campaigns, and we promote others so that we, don't feel bad about coming like on shows like this. We will definitely be promoting you tomorrow and talking about you tomorrow. We've had you on once before. Thanks for coming in. I hope we'll have you on again, because you're always interesting. I think you're even made more interesting to me. I think in between you and me, we show people that there are interesting things that happen in Arkansas.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being a nerd.
There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. It's the only way
I've
to
been
be.
a nerd my whole life. I don't know any different. I've always loved comic books.
What made you a nerd?
Scary movies. I love scary movies. I love animals. I love hunting. I love fishing. I love camping, hiking. I do all those things. And I love this state of Arkansas. I absolutely love our governor. She's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great
we're fortunate to have her right now.
Here, please don't bring your liberal point of view here. Just come here and just live and be free. Be a free American. So yeah, that'd be great.
And enjoy the hospitality.
Yeah, definitely enjoy that. But I just want to say thank you again, and everybody have a wonderful night. And I hope you like my outro.
Hey, Jackie.
I'm going to go see him in concert in June. I already got me a ticket, and I got me a VIP ticket. so I get to be over there by
Have you
the.
seen The Chosen, Last Supper? Have you been watching that? I've watched all 4 seasons.
I haven't watched. Is it on TV?
Well, they're releasing the 5th series on movies like they do, and I think it'll be on Amazon Prime after that, maybe Angel Studio. I don't know. You can check it out. They've got their own YouTube thing. It's called The Chosen, and often episodes are on there. So they're basically the Last Supper. It's leading up to the crucifixion. Great stuff. We watched part 1 and 2, and I hope before I take off for my trip that I'll get to see 3 and conclude. And then that way I've seen all of season 5.
Well, usually every Easter, I watch the Passion of the Christ.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Great movie. Cavoozle.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So,
and they're doing a sequel this year. They're going to start.
Oh, they are?
They're doing the Passion 2 and start filming, I believe in September or August.
Wow. Okay. Well, no, I didn't know about that because I told you I don't really, I don't hardly ever watch television. I get most everything I need off of all my friends, and plus I play a lot of DD. And,
I'm the same way, Janet, and I live a happier life for it.
So, well, that's the way it is for me, and I take care of my chickens and my house.
You better.
So, and I do promo work, so that's mostly what I do.
Yeah.
So
sounds like a nice, prosperous life.
It's less monotonous, I guess you could say that. So, I only put up with the bullshit I have to.
Well, Janet, I feel like people need to slow down. Society's going push, do more and more and more. And that doesn't mean you don't have goals and that you don't work towards, your empire that you want to build, whatever that is. If it's a stay-at-home mom, I know a stay-at-home mom, she's had like 6 children and very happy. That's all she wanted to do. And she's very happy doing it, And
she'll be even happier one day when she has grandbabies that come see her. So everything has rewards in it. You just have to be patient. And that's what I was saying earlier. Remember, I was talking about that it seems it's sad because people have no patience anymore. They cannot wait 5 minutes to get through a drive-through,
Absolutely.
Things like that. It's really, really bad. But I just want to say thank you to everyone again. And thank you for joining us. And I hope you'll go and check out his YouTube channel and his Fund My Comic Book or whatever website and everything. It's all in the chat. And hope you guys enjoyed it. So have a great evening.
After
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.